this is Dr. Wells, and I wanted to talk about one of my very favorite analogies today that I use with patients absolutely all the time. One of the books that I love is by John Kabat-Zinn, and it's called Wherever You Go, There You Are. And I am a big believer in meditation and mindfulness and acceptance and commitment therapy, and in trying as hard as possible to stay in the present and that things are never as bad in this present moment as they are in the future that we imagine or the past that we're remembering and bringing with us. But one of the, I think, really important parts about staying in the present moment is to also be flexible in your perspective, and be able to be in the present moment, but to see it from a 10,000-foot view. So a lot of therapists will call this the 10,000-foot view or the hot air balloon perspective. But in my mind, I don't know what 10,000 feet really looks like, and I don't really know what a hot air balloon really looks like. But in my mind, the pictures that I see most clearly when I put things in this perspective for me, one, I live in Houston. So for me, I really like the perspective of a satellite looking down on a hurricane. So when you're on the ground in the storm, in the hurricane, all you see all around you in that moment is the storm. You don't know how big the storm is. It feels like it must be everywhere in the whole world. It's so bad. And it feels like it'll go on forever. It's just everywhere and so intense and in this moment. And having ridden out a lot of hurricanes, one of the things that really helps is to see that satellite view of the giant hurricane, but it's not everywhere. It's not in Oklahoma, it's not in Tennessee, it's not in Florida. It's just over Houston at that minute. And so really being able to see from that satellite view that there's a boundary, there's a border, maybe there's an eye wall, maybe there's a clearing in the middle and the storm comes back, but it's bounded, time bounded, and it's location bounded. It's not everywhere, it's not forever. Whatever it is that you're going through at this moment, it is finite. And so for me, I think of that satellite hurricane view where you may be in the storm, but you can see that the storm is not as big as it feels when you're on the ground. The other perspective that I really like is another visual, and it's sort of the timeline from history books. So, for example, you may be going through something completely, amazingly immersive and awful, but when you look at a timeline in a history book, I think back to those people living through World War II or living through the Black Death. And maybe when you were living through World War II or the Black Plague, everything you touched, everything you saw, everything you did, everything you thought was about the war or the plague, and everything related to that. And it felt like it would go on forever, and you could barely remember before it started. And everyone was only ever talking about that, and it seemed just so universal and forever. But on a timeline, it's just a little blip. It's just a moment. And, it really, for American involvement, didn't even last that long, just, 5 or so years, 12 years in Europe. It felt probably like a lifetime for the people who were in it, immersed in it. But then one day it was just gone and they were moving on with their lives. And in a history book, it's just not even a centimeter, just a blip, a fingernail, on a long timeline of continuing history before and after. And it really kind of, even the worst, biggest things, it can help put them in the perspective of this won't last forever. Sort of famously, this too shall pass as a mantra. But even the worst things really do. And so this is just sort of an encouragement to give you some visualizations for, I love staying in the moment, But even in the moment, we don't have to believe that this storm or this event or this grief or this everything is all over and is forever, because everything passes.